Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for FENIX360, and I'm blessed to be joined today by the classical vocalist DEEPIKA. Hello, DEEPIKA. How are you?
Hi, John. Great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great too. Thanks for joining me today, DEEPIKA.
Pleasure.
And I'm looking
Pleasure.
forward to sharing some of your vocal artwork that we can find on your YouTube channel. So, okay, if we tune in to Shurami Vindali, I would love to as well. And how is that pronounced again, DEEPIKA?
This is Shura Mi Vandile.
Shura Mi Vandili. Let's tune in now to Deepika with Shura Mi Vandili.
शूरमे वन्दिले शूरमे वन्दिले धारातीर्थे तपजे आचरति सेनापति यशयाचि बले शूरामि वन्दिले शूरा तपजे आचरति सेनापति यशयाचि बले शूरामि वन्दिले शूरामि वन्दिले.
Deepika, that's beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing your work. And I appreciate
Thank you
you
so
and
much.
looking forward to learning about you now. Can you tell me where you're from and how did you become a classical vocalist?
I'm from Chennai in India. I was born here and brought up here, did my schooling and my college, everything was in Chennai. So basically, my mom is a trained classical singer and
Oh,
she's been singing for Indian movies here. And both my parents, my grandparents, they've all been very, very musically inclined and all of them sing, just that my mom sings professionally. So
nice.
it's been like music has been there in my atmosphere. It's been there in the air and it was I think only very natural that I picked this up from my mom. So I used to listen to her practice and I started picking up little songs and I started singing them myself. So once my parents got to know that I had this sort of an inclination towards music, they put me up for formal training with with my guru Sri O.S. Tyagarajan, followed by Srimati Sudha Raghunathan. So I've been learning from her for the last 20 plus years, and more recently, I also started to learn the North Indian classical music, which is called the Hindustani classical music from Sri Prasad Khaparde.
Uh-huh.
So that's been the journey with regards to my learning. But I think I was also lucky enough to get professional opportunities from my childhood. I had got an opportunity to act in a very, very reputed director's work here in the regional language called Tamil.
Uh-huh.
So this was a very, very popular TV series. So that sort of like put me out there, and I sang and I also acted in the serials. So simultaneously, I got a lot of opportunity to sing for movies here. So all of these started to like branch out, and I'm also a voice actor. So multiple things, but all of them revolving around music. They branched out, and even though I did my undergrad in IT and Sanskrit, I chose music as my profession.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're following your heart's calling, Deepika. That's really beautiful. And also that it started at that early age, tender age. And it's interesting, so often the sweetest sound is the sound of your mother's voice. And to have her to be a singer like this that you would emulate, and it's really inspiring. I'm glad that you had that kind of familial support. And then also you got some lucky breaks as a young kid to be, to be casted in that television program is really amazing. And so I'm I'm interested in learning, you have so many now disciplines related to your cultural music. And I'm wondering whether or not when you were considering being a classical um, vocalist, were there also other inspirations you may have had, either from people in your own kind of, cultural genres or outside, into other genres, pop or elsewhere that may have influenced you?
See, while I was doing my college, I got an opportunity to be a part of this program called the Fusion Arts Exchange, hosted by the US State Department.
Uh-huh.
So that was a very, very interesting experience because musicians from about 6 countries, 20 of us came together, and it was a period of 1.5 months where we jammed and we collaborated, learned about a lot of each of our cultures, each of our musical genres. So that was wonderful. So from that moment, I think everything changed for me in terms of, my personality development as well as my taste towards music, like more of a open-mindedness in listening to music or absorbing things from a variety of sources musically. So besides that, that was one point where I thought, I should do uh, unique things in music, not the typical way, not the routine way. So I was really, really, keen to start experimenting and try out different things with my voice, like no bar, nothing. So I'm not like I have to sing only this genre of music. No. Generally, that is the case here in India where people sort of stick to, those little pockets. But I have,
Right.
from this experience being in the US, I think that's sort of opened out my, spectrum. That is one. And in terms of people being as, inspiration, definitely my guru, Sudha Raghunathan. So I've always wanted to, perform like her, sing like her, and a few other musicians that I definitely have to say. My Hindustani classical guru Shri Prasad Khapardeji, he has taught me so many things, like in terms of techniques of singing, and I had to unlearn a lot of things and relearn. So it was a very, very
Right.
interesting, challenging experience. Likewise, Shankar Mahadevan sir, with whom I get to perform these days, he's one of the greatest singers of India, and
Uh-huh.
Sri Ustad Rashid Khan Saab, because of whom I got this interest and passion towards learning North Indian classical music. So I think these are the people that have really, really motivated me to stay in this path despite having a lot of hardships.
No, I appreciate them and also the influence they had on you and the inspirations they provided for you. You were really a kind of passionate student, and you love to learn and experience and consider now developing kind of the basis of the traditional learnings, and then in branching out to include some other kinds of themes or
Yeah.
influences that could give you a unique blend into your music and make it always evolving. So that's really inspiring as well. So, Deepika, what are you working on now? What's the current focus and for the near future?
Well, I've always wanted to take up ancient scriptures that are in Sanskrit language, and these are mostly chanted, like they're recited as shlokas, as verses. So I've always wanted to set tune to them, set tune to these verses, and sort of give them like a bit of a contemporary arrangement, because generally it's sort of labeled as traditional, and maybe just the old people that listen to it, but it is not so. It's very, very relevant. The content is very relevant, and people of all ages can definitely relate to it, recite, sing along, and all of that. So we're currently working on this shloka called Kanakadhara Shloka, composed by one of the earliest saints of India, Sri Adi Shankara. So basically, this verse, once you chant or once you recite this, this brings in a lot of prosperity and harmony in the household.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, and are these long, elaborate chants, or are they a couple of lines that get repeated over?
So these are like every verse is a set of 4 lines, and we
Uh-huh.
have, say, about 22 verses of that kind. Like each verse is 4 lines length.
Beautiful. And they're ancient um, Sanskrit. And so listen, this is very interesting to me because I believe that words have energy and they have meaning to the extent in which they have a direct effect in the universe and how it have a ripple effect into humanity and also all other living beings and the planet
Absolutely.
itself and the cosmos. So it's all very intricately interconnected. And so these chants, I believe, have this power to create well-being, as you say, and prosperity and health for the family that reverberates throughout the household and then continues out beyond. So that's a real beautiful aspiration of yours. I think this progress that you're going to be making, I'm really interested in tuning into it, Deepika. It's very
Oh, I'd
cool
love
because
to
you're
share it
bringing,
with you.
you're
Yes, I would.
shining new, fresh light on something of such ancient integrity. So thank you for that. You know,
Thank you very much.
and
I'd love to
listen,
share
and
that
we're
with you once it's out. Yeah.
yes, we're going to look for it. Okay. And I assume that you use your social media channels to update your progress on everything that you're working on, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Pretty active on them. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I want everyone to tune into the social media channels that you find below our interview today for Deepika, and also look for her rising on FENIX360. We're so happy to have you there. And thank you so much for meeting with me today, Deepika.
Thank you so much, John, for inviting me, and thank you so much for your time. Namaste.
Namaste. Bless you.